I call this September 15th, 2025 meeting of the North Liberty Library Board of Trustees to order. First item on the agenda is additions, changes to the agenda. I have a proposed change. In section 3, it mentions approval of minutes for June and July. That should actually say June and August. Do I have a motion for those changes to be approved?
I move to adjust the agenda accordingly.
Do I have a second?
Awesome.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. Hearing no nays, the motion is approved. Section 2, public comment. Seeing no one in the gallery, move to section 3, approval of minutes. For June, we have 3 of the 4 people who were in attendance in June are present tonight. Kara Angela Brandy, Scott Clemens is not present at the moment, so we do have a quorum. Do we have a motion to approve the June minutes?
Motion to approve them.
Do we have a second?
A second.
All in favor say aye.
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 All approved say nay. Hearing no nay, the June minutes are approved. We do not at the moment have a quorum for the July minutes.
August minutes.
August minutes? Caught me again. Item 4 is staff introduction. We're pleased to be joined tonight by Melanie Harrison, the Marketing and Engagement Coordinator.
Hello. Yes, I am the Library Marketing and Engagement Coordinator. I had this presentation from something I did for staff, so I thought I would just share it. But I did update it a little bit so that hopefully it's a little more tiered to you guys. And so the one thing I started with was sort of talking about the 2 different pieces in my title, which are marketing, which aims to inform people of what we got going on. And then engagement is building those relationships and targeting things that we can do with the community to get them in the doors and interact with us. And this is a fairly old picture, but it's one of my favorites with a group of kids that I got to use our cutout.
There'll be a cutout of the new guinea pig library card.
Yeah, I actually brought, this month snuck up on me. Usually I give a warning and I try to get a group picture of you guys. But we can also wait, and if there's going to be a time that everybody will be here, we can do that.
Are you able to show that?
Yeah. Or you guys can, actually, I have a couple of things here I'll pass around, and these are just some projects or things that more visuals. I'm a visual person. All right. So the marketing portion of that, the things that I sort of oversee or help with, the website, we do have an update on the website. We're in the process of getting a new site built with de novo, along with a city upgrade on their website. So we've got the layout, or not the design, but like we're in the writing portion of it, so we have to write all the pages. So that's fun. We use the MyLibro app, our newsletter that goes out monthly, of course, Facebook, Instagram, socials. Facebook, we post all of our events that we have coming up. And then there's the monthly highlights, which is produced by the city, but we contribute the events and things that we have coming up at the library for them to include. Posters, flyers, bookmarks, blogs, all the things you would expect that marketing does. And then the pictures, and then the engagement part, which is mostly photos, and you might see somebody in one of those pictures, but some of these are projects that I've just helped with. Some of them are just things that we do as the library to engage our community. So the first one is just we have a puzzle that's out all the time. Everybody, all ages, sit down and work on it. So also, I've seen new friendships kind of develop over sitting there. So that's always fun to see. People, having a reason to get out sometimes, and a place to go and other people to talk to. The second picture is our play garden. I think next year it's going to need a little bit of revising. It's been loved for about, I think this is the second or third year we've had that. And we just can't keep enough dirt in it. And I think it needs a smaller garden, shorter bed. But that is something we see kids in all the time, dragging the toys around. So that's always fun. Out there, we also have our pollinator garden. So this is a picture from the garden of a butterfly that we've also brought in as a caterpillar, raised and then released. So that's another fun project that we engage people in the library. Of course, our, oh my gosh, why am I? Entertainment services librarians. We now have two since Matilda passed away. We have Regina, who is the calico colored one, and Gretchen, who is the more chocolate colored one. And they're pretty sweet. We think Matilda would approve. And they're showing off the new guinea pig library card. And then, of course, through displays is another way that we engage with the community. We have the story walk. Right now, we're currently doing our costume closet. This is our third or fourth year we're doing that. Folks are invited to bring gently used costumes to the library. Then we sort through them and put them up. And then sort of before the Halloween season, we put those out and people can come and shop the costume closet for free. So that is
Melanie's daughter.
That is that. And then again, another sort of representation of the pollinator gardens with the chrysalis there. We made Valentines for our 55 plus audience, the luncheon that they do. Then the tiny art show, which is also going on right now. So just that's another thing that we have. And then this year we did the Peeps dioramas, which was also a lot of fun. So that's another activity thing that we've done to sort of promote engagement and get people in. Civic engagement. This is something I don't know as much about the program this year, but so I included kind of the history of where we are today with this event. It started, so the first picture with Matilda was in 2020, and I think we even did, I was trying to remember, we've done like votes for like characters and different things for a while. It just over the last couple of elections has grown into a larger program. So the first picture from Matilda was in 2020 when we did our characters. It was Elephant versus Piggy for president, and then it was vice president was Penelope Rex versus Mother Bruce. I don't remember who won. And other staff could not recall, so I don't have that answer. But from there, the next election, so 4 years later in 2020, we decided to grow that program and get some more, just teach a little bit more about the civic engagement. So we were, we did the storybook characters. We wanted a little different spin on things. And an idea I had was that how do we get kids of all ages sort of involved? And we're like, well, there's two really big sort of icons right now in the world. And that was Taylor Swift and Bluey. And so we're like, hey, Bluey attracts to like all ages. Taylor attracts all ages. Let's do our vote for the two of them. And so that the four pictures over on the other side are from that event. That program ended up falling on the day that we had satellite voting in the library, which, as you can probably imagine, was very busy. We had over 200 people attending the program, and then we had lines wrapped around for the satellite voting. But we got the attention of the auditors, and we knew that we couldn't use their machines and stuff because of all of the election things going on. But that was something we kind of had in the back of our mind. But we had gotten their attention with our program, so they reached out to us after the election and said, hey, we'd like to partner and do a program with you guys. So this year, they did another program. I don't have pictures from those. I was not at that event. But they made a custom ballot, and the kids got to vote for the story that Miss Emily read at story time. They got to vote for what song to listen to during the bubbles at the end. They decided what our theme was going to be or is going to be for our Halloween trail that's coming up here around Liberty Center Pond. So it was a way that the kids could actually get to do, instead of just our paper thing that they filled out last time, which was really great, but they actually got to participate and then see the things, for the most part, put into action in that same event. So, and they had, even for not a big presidential year, they had like 160, I think they said. So yeah, they had a really big crowd for that event too. So I don't know, that's something that's just been cool to watch grow, and the involvement and spreading the word on, getting to know what's going on and how to be involved in your community and voting and getting your voice heard and helping others get their voice heard too. The next is, so another thing that I'm kind of excited about, the first two pictures on the top row are some of our part-time staff. So over the last, as far as I can remember, we've done a Johnson County Libraries booth at the fair. And the last few years, it's been a little bit like back and forth deciding like how we want the libraries to look in that space and represented. And something that I've been wanting to do it for probably 5 years. So I'm like, what do people do at the library? Like, why don't we make a library space at the fair so that people can interact with it like they would the library? So comfortable seating. We had, and some of these ideas are not all mine. There was the free book cart, so we brought books in so people could take books. We had a sticker puzzle thing that people could do. A place for people to just relax. And the coolest thing that I didn't anticipate that I heard was, so the second picture is all 4-H kids who after hours came in and were using the chargers for their phones. They were chilling in that space. So they were using the library even, while they were in the fair space outside of the actual events of people being through there. So that was a really cool thing I didn't anticipate happening, but it was really successful, and all the libraries were able to bring different pieces to make it like a comfortable, inviting place. And then the fair actually had some neat little lights just in around our booth. So that added some nice ambiance too. Another engagement piece is just, and this was the first time that the book bike was at Remarkable Rigs. So we partner in the community with city at different events, any way that we can kind of get ourselves in there and people recognize staff. This remarkable rig that we added to the library, different things like that. Again, bottom is just another city event that, where we're at just being present and there for people to see and know. Another picture in the middle there is just from the Johnson County Fair a couple years ago. And then the one on the bottom there is just another library sign-up month picture from a couple of years ago. September is library card sign-up month. So Jenny's been asking for a custom library card for a few years, and it's not something I was ever against. It's just like we didn't really have artwork that was ours that we could use. And so this year it worked out that we had this artwork from the book bike. And I was like, I think I can come up with something with that. So the book bike, the library card that passed around is the library card we have right now. And then after this month, so new patrons during the month of September will get that. And then after this month, it'll be available to kids and on the book bike. So if people sign up for a library card at the book bike, they will get that card. So then on to another thing that we've been doing for 4-ish years now, is the Iowa Adventure Pass. It just, this year, at the end of last year, they unexpectedly, the program we were using for, bookings, that business closed. And so the larger program didn't have a ticketing software, and that left the people who started the Iowa Adventure Pass program having to figure out how to make this work now that they've got all these libraries that have sort of bought into it and have purchased these memberships to these different places. They anticipated that it would only be down for a month while they got it all going, and it ended up being like 5 months, 4 months before we were able to relaunch. But I would say once it relaunched, it has been big and heavily used since it came back in. It was like the end of May. So right in time for summer, luckily. But so we have the Iowa Adventure Pass. These are our venues that we have memberships to, and folks can use each. So if they're a North Liberty resident with the library card, they can visit each venue once in the year, and it's good for, most of them are good for 2 adults, 2 kids. I think the fun bundle might allow like 4 kids and 2 adults. But it's a great program that's been really successful that has sponsored. I think we've gotten our friends group to to sponsor it kind of ongoing. So I need to get that marketing updated now that we have the new logo from the Iowa Adventure Pass company. I always just say how you guys can help, and that's just spreading the word about the library, the things we have to offer. Come and visit us. As you can see, I usually take a picture. I kind of mentioned that at the beginning. I didn't plan well enough in advance to warn everybody that would happen. So I might have Jenny let me know if there's one meeting where you all will be here, and try to come get a picture so that we can do a shout out to you guys on social media for supporting the library's efforts. And all right, let's see, what do we got next? Oh, I just had, if you had any questions, and I, of course, love pictures. And so here are just some funny pictures from the years before the library expansion, when I made all the staff sit on toilets for their staff photo. When we brought bugs, I got to meet Abby Jimenez this summer. Different things. Oh, and the picture with my cat, we had a cat cafe a couple of years ago, and I ended up getting my cat from there. So that is her before she was mine. But it was just things. Sure. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you for joining us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome work.
Oh, I guess I brought some pens too. If anybody is interested in a library, I can pass it around.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
I sent you a couple texts asking for pictures.
What?
I sent you a couple texts asking for pictures for my presentation.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Just
I'm
now?
doing a presentation
Oh.
in Albuquerque, and I was like, ooh, that would be really good if I had these 4 pictures.
Yeah. All right. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 5 is the library director report, starting with the budget.
All right. So it's early days. We are sitting really well. Total expenditures were at 15%, which this time of year is about 16%. So we're doing well there with all the areas. Of course, as we all know, or as I say all the time, we backload some of this stuff. So you'll see more expenditures that are a little higher coming out here shortly. Because there was a couple that are like already at like 30% or more, just with the way we spend for dues and memberships and things like that. But so far, so good. If anybody has any questions, I can answer those. This year, is just as a side note, we now have a financial, I don't know what his title is exactly, but a new person with the city who's like a finance officer. Which is fantastic. He's super helpful, and it's definitely freed up some of their staff at the city hall. And so they are actually doing 2 amendments this year, one in the fall and one in the spring. Typically in the spring I can amend for unanticipated costs of things, or the money that's come into the budget for donations and such. So it's kind of nice to have that. We'll be adding that Adventure Pass money in this week to the budget, so that programs line won't tilt too much with that spending.
Is the, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Is the software maintenance fees that are really high, the website?
No, that's our library.
Oh, the prepayment
software.
of okay,
So for the whole year, we pay
the whole
for
year,
our
okay.
integrated library system
got it.
that
I was
we use.
trying to think, I was like, I
Hilarious.
feel like there's something there that we talked
Yeah,
about.
they hit us right away in July with those payments, and they are not cheap. All right. Any other questions? Okay, so staff updates. We did conduct interviews last week, and I say we, I mean Jennifer and Kelly, not me. 5 interviews for a library assistant to replace Madison, who left us for a full-time job up in Waterloo. So we did make an offer. We're very excited about the person who's coming on board. She has a lot of library experience and is a regular library user as well. So it'll be nice to have her on board. Barring, I mean, there's no reason why anything should come up, but she just has to go through the HR process this week, and hopefully within the next couple of weeks we'll get her started. The harm reduction vending machine is in place in the library, if anybody's seen it. They did a really nice job with the marketing of that as well, and the wraps and things that they put on it. There is an event coming up at the Corville and North Liberty had a hallway coin toss is what they called it, to see who would be able to get to have the media and public event for that, for the awareness event, and Corville won. So they're just going to do one, which makes sense. They're going to invite all of the leaders from both communities and anyone else who's interested in coming. So I just wanted to encourage, if anyone's available, if you'd like to come to that event. It's the 22nd, next week at 9:30 in the morning. So right when I get back from the Association of Rural and Small Libraries, I have to remember to go somewhere, which is always interesting. And then I just was safety in the library is a big deal. We do try to have measures in place at the library. For instance, in the past, we just kind of had a free-for-all. People could walk into the workroom whenever they wanted. Those doors are now locked, and it takes like staff swipe to get in. And this past, while I was actually off work, I got a call right after closing that one of our staff had found a small purse in a study room that had a firearm in it. There was nothing else in it, and the library had been closed for a little bit. So what happened to it after the police came, I don't know. They called the police. They handled it very, very well. I went ahead and just went there just to be there when the police got there, and he just said that they would run it to see, if there was anything like a stolen weapon, and then that they would call the person. That was good that I was there. The staff were like, well, can we give him the name of the person who was in the room? And I said, yes, that's not private. It's a public space, but we just wouldn't give them like who had, what was checked out, if that person had checked out items or whatever, unless they had a warrant for that. So that was interesting. Not something I expected to ever happen in the library. And then the second thing is that we did have 3 kiddos that we've been struggling with behavior issues with for about 2.5 years. The last time they were expelled for a year, there was incidents of throwing chairs at library staff and scratching library staff. They were preteen then. They're now early teens, all 3 of them. It's a family. So I just wanted to let you guys know that we did do a trespass. I don't anticipate that anyone would call the board, but because the family has been served by the police a trespass notice that they cannot come on the premises. Our goal would not be to ever call the police, but to ask them to leave, unless it became a big issue where they refused to leave or whatever. We're going to give them another year and try again. Our first inclination was to just not have them back until they were 18, but we're going to try it this way and see how it goes. And so we will go from there. And then just letting you know, the program, there could be another upcoming expense, which hopefully would be amended back in the spring, or we'll just find the funds for it. And that is, we have an additional room in the back of the library that was our IT office. And since we do not house the IT people anymore, the programmers have kind of taken that over. But right now it is just filled with stuff. There's no room, there's no organization to it. So our goal is to get cabinets and a countertop for them to be able to work and have it be a more productive space. But the initial cost for that was over $8,000 to get that done. And it's very difficult to get someone to do a small project like that. We could only find one business willing to even give us a quote for it. So we're still working on that and hope to have that done. I would say by the end of the year, I would like to see at least something in place to get it going. We'll see what happens. We did launch a new SMS text messaging service. I don't know if any of you had text before, if you got those emails, but it's called Shout Bomb, or text messages. It is called Shout Bomb. We had a couple of phone calls with people thinking it was spam or something scary on their phone. But because it was set to launch on September 2nd, we were able to just answer those questions. And we did have about, I would say, 200 people who opted out, and that may be because they didn't understand, and they may come back and complain that they're not getting their text messages. And what happened, I think I told you guys, but Polaris, our software, stopped. The service that we had before was not allowing SMS to text messaging. So we had two options, and one was to go with a third party that Polaris works with. The other was to go with Shoutbomb. Polaris's was more than 2 times as much, quoted 2 times as much, and Shoutbomb has been really, really fantastic to work with. We're not really sure if it's just one guy, actually, but he's done a great job, and he's been very, very responsive. The only problem was that Polaris was not playing very nice with us at first, trying not to help us get the information we needed or to get the reports we needed to make this switch over. We did get it we got them to do it. It took a little cajoling, and it took talking to another library that they had worked with previously, and that other library actually helped us more than the company did. I noticed that I have an email today from the help desk about this query, so I will be responding to let them know that they could have done better with that. I don't think they get to dictate what service we use. They like to have third party. That's one of the things with Polaris that's kind of irritating, is that they like to have third party. They have a lot of third party products that they offer, and then they charge, not only the third party charges us, but obviously they're charging us as well. So it's a little bit frustrating at times, but they're, for the most part, are a great company to work with. So we will stick with them for now. That said, Iowa City is looking at a new software and is transitioning, and it is, the quote I got from them is about 50% of what we pay now. So that could be in our future. We'll see how it goes. We're going to wait till Iowa City goes through the pains of it first, and we'll see. But it would have some other benefits as well for partnering with Iowa City. I just wanted to let you guys know that I am working on an art committee. There's just 3 of us right now within the city. This is something that we started several years ago, and it just never got any legs. And the city council and the city administrator have given us permission to kind of move forward. So we will be putting out an RFP to try to maybe get a consultant at some point. We're working on establishing an advisory committee, and the goal is to get public art throughout the city. As we know, the library has some art, but it's not public if it's inside. Really, it can't be considered public since they can't come in all the time, 24/7. Except for our mural on the outside, which it's always been a goal of mine to have art in the city. So I'm very excited about the possibilities of what we could do with it. The Palace project, I'm very excited about. This is another company that provides ebooks and e-audios. They have been growing and offering more and more products. I've been talking with them for about 3 years and just haven't pulled the trigger on using them. But they have a lot of simultaneous access. They have several titles that are simultaneous access, which means more than one person can have them checked out at the same time. They have a lot of Spanish titles and some other titles, and they've quoted us for Iowa City, Crowville, and North Liberty to come on together at a very reasonable price. And then when I talked to them about our smaller libraries in the county, they said that they thought they could do it at little or no cost, and they've basically quoted us at no cost. So we're probably going to be able to bring them on, and then in addition to that, we're hoping to get all the small libraries onto Overdrive with us as well, so they can be involved in the whole digital Johnson County collection.
So how does that integrate with Overdrive? It sounds like it's not a competitor to it.
It's a separate thing. I mean, it could be considered a competitor, but the beauty of the Palace project is that their app will allow Overdrive, will pull in Overdrive and aggregate it. So they'll have Overdrive. They can search Overdrive in the app. We got to figure out all the details of that, and that's another thing that would be helpful if we get the other libraries on board, is to have them on Overdrive as well. The goal would be that they would have to pay a small amount of fee to Overdrive, but they're already paying a small fee to the state. So hoping it wouldn't be too much of a difference, and then asking them to chip in a little bit for collection. In which case, and we haven't even talked to them about this. This is all just planning. I hope and think that they'll all be interested. I have talked to them about Palace. We just haven't talked to them about the Overdrive content yet. So I do leave tomorrow morning along with Nick, Emily, and Jennifer. Actually, Emily's already there on a little mini vacation. We fly to Albuquerque in the morning to go to conference. The conference starts on Wednesday. There, I just listed I think it's great to see the presentations that we're doing. Nick is involved in 2 presentations. One that he put in himself, which is the Cultivating Community in a Divided and Disconnected World, which is, he did a brief version of that for some, or maybe most of you, I don't know, a year or so ago on loneliness in the how we combat loneliness in the library. The other, he was just invited to sit on a panel about immigrants and library services to immigrants. So he had agreed to do that. And then I am presenting a 3-hour pre-conference with my good friend, Michael Hellman. We've done a similar one to this a couple of different times, and we've done several hour versions of it. So it's exciting to go on the road again and do this one way. I think we have 30 people signed up now for that pre-conference, so that's great. And then I was invited to present on intellectual freedom game that Library Futures, which is another organization that works with privacy and intellectual freedom in libraries out of New York, is doing at the conference. I'm really just the sidekick, is what I keep telling her. My role is going to be to chime in when I think it's relevant to libraries, because she doesn't work in a library, and then to be there to answer questions about intellectual freedom from the library administration standpoint. And then I'm also doing a couple other things, which is exciting. One is to do a peer-to-peer clinic on policy, which is basically speed dating about policy questions that people might have. And then speaking to funders at an event on Thursday evening about programming in our community and how we program. So all very cool stuff. Excited. This is always the best conference. Truly a lot of great topics and very applicable information. So, and then I included in the monthly report, which you guys did not see, I don't think, so I'll have to send it to you, because we have moved from Dropbox to SharePoint for sharing out the report, as you guys saw, and I did not put together like a folder. I was just trying to make it all work this time. So we did on August 26th. We 3 of Melanie and Nick from Shimon and I went to a city council meeting. Also, some of the Good Neighbor Good Neighbor Club. They're not calling themselves a book club anymore. They have been wanting to do more activity and community or civic engagement in the community. So they attended the meeting and were on the agenda to speak. So Nick spoke for the Good Neighbor Club, and then one of their Good Neighbor Club members spoke as well about just what they're hoping to do with that club and how the library interacts with it. And then the mayor had read a proclamation for Library Card Sign Up Month, which is really, really nice. It's very well written, and if you didn't see it on Facebook, it was on our Facebook, so you can see it there. Does anyone have any questions?
I just have a comment regarding the harm reduction machine. I actually had a friend of mine reach out to ask about the funding for that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't 100% sure what I'd heard, so I dug through some of the documentation in the city online and found that it was actually funded by the lawsuit against the Sackler family
Yes.
for opioid abuse, which seems like an absolutely perfect use of the funds from that.
Yeah, and it's fully funded by the county. We have an MOU with the county that basically indemnifies us of any wrongdoing or anything. If any, Grant, our wonderful attorney, was very, really worked well with them to create what he thought was a nice, sound policy or MOU, memorandum of understanding, and that we had to go back to the drawing board like 2 days before they were coming to install it, which had me in a bit of a panic. And I will say too that and they've given us a really good fact sheet so that our staff can, with scripting, that our staff can use to help answer questions if people were to bring questions up. I can tell you for just a couple quick stories. One is that we had an older gentleman trying to kind of engage another patron about it and get them kind of maybe hyped up about it. And the other patron's like, yep, I saw it. What a great thing. And then he tried to do it with a second person, and the same thing. She was like, yep, already seen it. Thank you. So I thought it was really great. And then he did ask one of our staff, who just explained, how it works and the purpose of it. And I think that calmed him down a little bit. Probably would have been better if he did come to the staff first, but that's okay. And then apparently on one of the Facebook Moms page, not North Liberties, as far as I know, because I'm not on those, somebody brought it up because a family was in and a little child was punching all the buttons and got some naloxone out. And she brought it over to one of the parent or guardian brought it over to the desk and handed it to me and apologized, and they left. And then a post came up that said that we had this machine and she didn't want to stir up any trouble, but and then there were immediately like 30 comments that were like, this is fantastic. What a great resource. All positive. Every comment was positive, which made me feel really pleased. So I think it's great. And also kids may get into it, and we're just going to deal with it as that comes because they push buttons. Hopefully not too many. We do have it in line of sight, but that doesn't mean we're always on, watching it every second of the day. So
Literally and figuratively.
yes. And that is not the point anyway. It's supposed to be, completely anonymous for folks. So, and then just staff reports. I think the one thing Melanie talked about, the Johnson County bringing in the ballots. The ballot was great. It was just like a real ballot, and they brought in the voting machines, which was really fun. The only snafu was that they said that they wanted to come at 9, so our staff got there at 8:30, and they didn't show up until 9:45. And the staff got into a little bit of a panic, but they went into operation mode and started immediately thinking how they were going to make it work if they didn't show up at all. And they had a bunch of stuff already ready to go by the time they got there. They had everything set up in 15 minutes, and so they will communicate for next year. Maybe just let us know for sure when you want to come. So we aren't there an hour early. But other than that, as you can see from all the staff, I really love the numbers that Kayla reported and Emily's. Just the busyness. And I will say, I've had several comments, and I commented, the library typically chills out a little in August, and we have some downtime in September and August. And this year we have just not seen it. Like this morning, I opened the library this morning. The Dropbox was completely full. And at 8:30 or 9 o'clock when I came off the desk, the Dropbox was completely full again, both inside and outside. So the books are just still coming and coming, which means people are checking them out, which is great. But we are just not seeing the normal slowdown. It's steadied, but it's definitely not slowed down the way we're used to, having sort of a collective sigh of relief in the fall, and we aren't seeing that. So. And that's all I have, unless you guys have questions.
Okay. Item 6, policy review, and I think here we also have a change to the agenda. It says program policy, and I believe that should be programs policy. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
that's okay. Yeah, we do call it the programs policy. Yeah, so the only real changes that we have is to take out things that don't comply with the law, our lovely law. So that is all the changes that are there, just those to make sure that we're in compliance. And actually, those are just grants help. With grants help, I think I made one change to what grant suggested, and that was it. And the collection development, we did not have any recommended changes. I guess we're just talking about programs now.
And then item 7, new business. Does anyone have new business?
Do we
We need to
review
approve the
it?
policies.
Yeah, we need to.
I
I move to approve the program's policy as amended and the collection development policy as in its current form as set forth in the materials.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Hearing no nays, both of the policies are approved.
And I do see that I did include the proclamation down there so you guys can see it. I forgot I had put it in there.
And thank you to you and Grant for all the work on going through and carefully updating to reflect the change in the law. I have no doubt that was work that required a lot of thoughtful, that required a thoughtful approach to try to capture the inclusive intent in a way that aligns with the law. Well done.
Thank you. Mostly Grant just says, here's what I think, and I say, okay, thanks.
Item 7, new business. Does anyone have new business? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned.